Hi, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joybaking.com, and today we're going to make homemade Rocky Road. And this is it. And you can see there's marshmallows and nuts all covered in a delicious dark chocolate. So when you make Rocky Road, you only need 3 ingredients. The first ingredient you will need is 4 cups, which is about 180 grams of marshmallows. And you can either use the store-bought mini marshmallows, or what I personally like to do and what I'm using here is homemade marshmallows. And then what you do is you just cut them into bite-sized pieces. And the great thing about homemade marshmallows is you could make them quite a few days in advance, so you don't have to do everything on the same day. And then besides the marshmallows, you need 1.5, which is about 160 grams of 1.5 cups of nuts. Now, you could really use any nut that you like, or a combination. So hazelnuts, pecans, walnuts, almonds, I mean really pistachios. What I'm using, it's my favorite, is peanuts. And I actually like to use lightly salted peanuts because I like a little bit of salt in my Rocky Road. So I have that all ready, and then I'm just going to put this already in a large bowl. And then I just kind of toss it so we're ready at the end. And then you will need a baking sheet lined with either parchment paper, you could use wax paper, or you could just lightly butter. Now, the most important ingredient is our chocolate. You can use your favorite semi-sweet or bittersweet. I would use a pretty good quality chocolate, one that you just like eating just on its own. And we are going to temper the chocolate. Now, just a little background on tempered chocolate. When you buy a chocolate bar, you will notice it's quite shiny, and when you feel it, it's at room temperature, it's just nice and smooth, and when you break it, you will hear a snap. That means the chocolate is tempered. Now, unfortunately, as soon as you melt chocolate, the temper's gone. So if you melt it and then let it harden again, it won't harden to that real nice shiny, and it will be kind of dull looking and a little greasy actually to the touch, and you will no longer get that snap. So while you can make a pretty good Rocky Road with just melted chocolate, I like to do the process of tempering it so we can bring it back to that nice shiny point. So it's not really that difficult. I know people are a little scared of doing it. This is all, when you temper chocolate, it's all about temperature control. So you will need a chocolate thermometer. That is different from a candy thermometer. And the reason you need a chocolate thermometer is we have to bring the temperature down to we actually need to bring it down to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 32 degrees Celsius. And a regular candy thermometer does not go down that low. So you will need a chocolate thermometer. I have an Insta-Read, which I really like. So that's a very important tool here. And then you need a heat-proof bowl. Now, I am using what is called a quick temper seed process. This is, there's all different ways to temper chocolate. You can even buy machines that temper it. And for this quick temper, it's an easier way. And when you're making Rocky Road, it is a perfect type of tempering for Rocky Road. And it's a good way to get started if you're new at this. So what you will need is 1 pound, 450 grams of like a dark chocolate, semi-sweet, bittersweet. And what you will need is, to start, we are going to melt 3/4 of a pound of the chocolate. That's 340 grams. So you can roughly chop it, or I've got these little discs. I don't even bother chopping them. And just put it in a stainless steel bowl. And what we are going to do is put it over a saucepan of simmering water, and we are going to melt this. So just stir it And what we're looking for is a temperature range when it's melted of 115 to 119 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 46 to 48 degrees C. Okay, that looks pretty good. We're about melted. I'm just going to take it off the heat, give it a good stir, and then I'm going to use my thermometer here and to get a reading where we're at. Yeah, we're about, well, we're a little high. No, we're about right. So what you're looking for is that in that 115 to 119, 46 to 48 C. And if you were, chances are you might be a little high if your water was high or you left it a little longer. So what you do is just kind of let it sit for a little, let it cool off until it's at that temperature. And then, so we're at a high temperature, we've melted the chocolate. So now what we have to do, tempered chocolate is in the range of 89 to 91 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what we're aiming for, which is 31 to 33 degrees Celsius. So what we're going to do to bring that down is to add the rest of our chocolate. That was a 1/4 pound, 115 grams, and finely chop it. And as I said, this is called this seed temper. And the seed part is actually the little bits of finely chopped chocolate are called seeds. And that, I'm not going to get into all the science of the chocolate. If you take this and put it in here and bring that temperature down, we're going to aim for 90 degrees, which is 32 degrees Celsius, 9 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you really need to have it in that, and that means it's at the temper. If you went lower than that, if you weren't paying attention and constantly checking your reading, you will have to then put it back over the heat and bring it back up to that 90 degrees, 32 Celsius. So just keep adding. Now, another point. What we're looking for is that temperature. You may not need all of this chocolate to get it down to that temperature. So that's why I'm adding it gradually, and I'm going to keep checking with my thermometer. You may not need it all, or conversely, I have a little extra here. You may need a little more. So if you kind of take a reading and go, oh, I'm at 90 degrees Fahrenheit or 32 Celsius, and I haven't used all my chocolate, don't worry about it. That's fine. So as you can see, this is really all about temperature. It's not really that difficult to do, and people get a little tentative on tempering chocolate, but it's really about using your thermometer a lot. Okay, so now I am at the target temperature. So what I'm going to, and you need to work quickly here. Cover my, because this type of tempering, it doesn't hold that long. So I like to put lots of marshmallows and peanuts in my Rocky Road. If you wanted a thicker layer of chocolate, just use less. And there, I'm good. And then I'm just going to spread that on the sheet. You see, it's already starting to harden right in my bowl. And then just kind of spread it out like so, as much as you want. If you like it thick. So, that looks good. So now, what you can do is just let that sit at room temperature, because tempered chocolate will harden at room temperature, but that will take a while. I'm usually kind of in a hurry to try it. So I usually put it in the fridge for 10, 15 minutes to get cold. Just a little note, if you are new to tempering chocolate and you kind of you've got the target temperature but you're kind of nervous, what you can do is just, right when it's tempered at the temperature, you can just put a little bit on your palette knife, or if you have granite on your counter, and it should harden and get nice and shiny and hard within a couple minutes, and that's also, it's tempered. But like I said, don't worry. The good thing about Rocky Road is even if it's not tempered chocolate, it's still fantastic. But this is a great start to learn how to temper chocolate. So I'm going to put this in the fridge, and when we come back, we will cut it into pieces and try it. Okay, so now it's chilled enough so we can either cut it or break it into pieces. Look, it's just wonderful. It's just beautiful, shiny. So you can use a large knife and just kind of like so, and cut it into whatever size pieces you want. See, look at that. Or you could just break it with your fingers like that as well. Either way. Look at that. You get the nice marshmallows, the peanuts. Oh, I don't think I mentioned, but there is a recipe along with a video on the site to make your own homemade marshmallows, and I would encourage you to do that. They're not very hard to do, but look at that. And so I love the marshmallows. So I'll just break that. Oh yeah, it's just, this is really, once you start eating this, you can't stop. It's just, that spongy, sweet marshmallow and the crunchiness of the nuts, and I like the little bit of salt, and then the dark chocolate. I mean, this makes a wonderful gift as well to give away. Now, like I said, you can, if your temper was successful, then you can store this at room temperature for probably about a week. Never lasts that long in my house. Or you can also put it in the refrigerator. It will last longer. Like I said, if you found it didn't temper properly, then just store it in the fridge and it will be fine. So enjoy. So until next time, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joybaking.com.